Hi everybody, I hope you're well. Today I will read from a book titled Building Little Saigon, Refugee Urbanism in American Cities and Suburbs by Eric Allen Kim, published by University of Texas Press. 5 years after Tran Van Tam applied for a visa, he was offered a chance to emigrate with his family to the United States. Although he had survived 10 years in a re-education camp, he explained to a reporter in 1997 that his family no longer had a reason to leave Vietnam. Others in a similar position agreed that life as an immigrant would be more challenging now that they were getting older. Between 1975 and 1997, more than 2 million people left Southeast Asia as refugees. Even as Vietnamese people continued to risk their safety in pursuit of opportunities, economic reforms have reduced pressure to live. With the passage of time, the idea of an exile diaspora has been further unsettled by both foreign policy changes and personal decisions to engage in transnational activities, including owning property, working, and moving back to Vietnam. From refuge to risk, the American dream has been shaped as much from without as from within the borders of the United States. These changing and often conflicting ideas about identity can be read in the architecture and material culture of Vietnamese diasporic landscapes. The physical landscapes shaped by the newcomers tell stories of cultural attachments, their economic and social motivations, and conflicts over the right to reside in a city and suburb. Since the beginning of the Syrian civil war in 2011, escalating tensions over American and European political responses to asylum seekers and economic migrants have raised urgent questions about the propulsive forces of global political instability that add complexity to the relationship between sending and receiving societies. Furthermore, debates about sanctuary cities, the uneven geography of illness and mortality, and rising tensions over public spaces and individual liberties have laid bare inequalities that contradict the promises of globalization. The political categories of migration, undocumented, refugee, asylum seeker, permanent resident, economic immigrant, reunited family envision degrees of moral legitimacy. There is also a provisional quality to life as a migrant, a person who neither identifies as indigenous to nor claims a place of residence as a birthright. This feeling of estrangement can shape the creation of enclaves or cultural communities where one feels at home. Changes to the meaning of a diaspora are expressed by built landscapes that are distinctive for their pragmatic yet extraordinarily creative reuse of generic buildings. Vietnamese refugees have adapted North American, mostly suburban, low-density neighborhoods in response to generational and geopolitical changes. At the same time, even as academics, journalists, and local officials have heralded these communities as successes, the idea of America as a refuge has changed for potential refugees such as Tam, who are wary of adapting to a new home. Studying Little Saigons, their strip malls, parking lots, and urban design guidelines tell us not only about refugee resettlement, but also about the significance of these spaces for American-born Vietnamese. Migration produces degree of othering and belonging for those who live, remain, or return. Examining everyday buildings helps us see the complexities of migration unfolding across lifetimes and generations. Little Saigon, Koreatown, Chinatown, Little Manila, and Ter Angeles are produced through public and private notions of identity, tethered to far-flung places. Prior to 1954, Vietnamese who migrated were more likely to live in France as students and workers. This movement continued during the war, and after 1975, more than 125,000 refugees entered the country. Even within this more established diaspora, the idea of a little Saigon did not develop in France. In contrast to the United States, the former colonizer pursued a policy of integration that promoted secular French national identity rather than multiculturalism. After the war, Vietnamese refugees and their children settled in predominantly immigrant neighborhoods, including Les Olympiades in the 13th arrondissement in Paris, a new district developed in the 1960s with low property values that attracted ethnic Chinese. Although the area known as Quan 13 or District 13 has become popular for its restaurants and sidewalk vendors, there are fewer Vietnamese enclaves in France than there are in the United States. Even within North America, the development of Little Saigons had depended as much on local attitudes toward urbanism as on individual and collective motivations to build and sustain these communities. Rather than take ethnic enclaves as a given, I view their establishment and maintenance as a deliberate decision by individuals to shape a collective identity. Ask for the book at your local bookstore. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.